kids, the kids.
I think it's her larger-than-life sense of empathy drew me to the story of Princess Diana. When you read about her, she really wanted to live in service to others. She wanted to use her privilege to help others, and we all know the pictures of her with holding the AIDS baby, talking to the AIDS patient, and walking through the landmines. I mean, she really was remarkable, and I just thought, isn't such an empathetic character who went through a lot of turmoil such a great subject for a Broadway musical. Left an amazing legacy and had an amazing life with a lot of both joy and turmoil and certainly a lot of giving back, and I thought, what a great idea for a musical.
To me, it's all about emotions and what the feeling is at that moment, what the character's feeling. And then I know in certain songs, I know how to get an audience, of 80,000 people to rise, and I know how to bring them down emotionally. So I think that live playing for so many years of that, I've learned that emotion of how to take that ride where you're really up and then bring them down and go up and bring down. So that helps me, and then what I do in my musical world helps in the Bon Jovi world. So they help each other.
Was there any pressure just because of how successful Memphis was, or were you just excited for a new project?
I think if we thought about that, we would be frozen with our fingers over the keyboard, both respective keyboards. So you can't let that happen.
Yeah, for me, it's never pressure in any. Even in my band, we put out 15 records. I think what you do is, it's great if you're a musician that you have a job. That's the first thing. You don't have to have be a waiter. You can actually do what you love to do. And I think the discovery of coming up and that spark and that writing that song and making something out of nothing, I think that's not pressure, that's joy.
So I started we're obviously spoiled with the amount of YouTube videos available and all the footage online. So I started with sort of, I guess, an outside-in sort of process, but really sort of researching how she moved and how she spoke and how she held herself and working in that way before sort of diving into reading the stuff she wrote and sort of trying to get into her psyche. But definitely the first steps were, how does she sound, how does she move, and how would that be interpreted on stage?
Ridiculous. I am absolutely absurd. If there were a fan club, I would certainly be a front character, if not early.
I think the biggest challenge is that the audience enters the theatre with such a preconceived idea of who Diana is, and within a couple of seconds they're definitely going to decide whether they buy your interpretation or not. So that's the biggest challenge.
I think that I understood that this was an incredible responsibility, and I know that I feel this way, and all of our creative team and principal actors feel this way, that we first and foremost want to pay respect to the people involved in this story, and that this is really a celebration of 3 or 4 lives of very influential people, especially Diana, and a human, we're trying to analyze the human nature, the human angle of this story that we all think that we know.
I recently learned that, but I've had a few corgis in my life, and they are really sweet animals. Yeah, you can imagine what that's like to play somebody who's still on the planet and who's so important and so iconic. And I feel daunted, but excited and thrilled, and I just want to do her justice in a musical sense too, because this is a musical, and there are things here that take a little fantasy, because we're taking it to new heights in a way. All of it very generous-hearted and great fun, very, very entertaining for an audience. I think I'm loving it. So. Believing love is pure. Suddenly a chance. Why not have a go? The danger what I've learned is that there are no bad guys in this story. Everybody's doing the best they can, and just like marriages that we have all encountered, maybe people, their own marriages, at the end of the day, and nobody was bad, nobody was good, everybody was doing the best they could. And, I just rhymed. And that, if I thought I knew the story before, I didn't really know the whole story. And we endeavored to tell that story. And it's a very human story. These are all human beings.
Fairy tale.